I'm filming, but you don't look ready.
Let me know when you start.
I am literally like, we are rolling. This is live.
I'm tired.
You clearly are only on your first coffee of the day still.
I have a second one behind you.
Yeah, you need it real bad. It's like 10:15 in the morning and you're like acting like it's 7 a.m.
This video is mostly about the bike, but due to some scheduling conflicts, we were unable to make a Red Explorer video for the launch. I went ahead and just ordered this bike with Red Explorer, and it's 13 speed now. I'm excited to try that out, and we'll dive into some of the features in this video too. So it's like a double feature drive-in theater situation.
Whoa,
here.
crossover episode.
It's not, but yeah, the Checkmate. I've already unboxed it, and we're gonna start, I guess, just finishing it.
Yeah.
It comes pretty much assembled.
We're gonna finish it. We're gonna talk about it.
And then we're gonna go ride. I've been wanting to add like first impressions into these videos for a while. We're gonna do that today. We're actually gonna go ride this thing.
We kinda did that with the Top Fuel, but now we're doing it for the real deal.
You're right, we tried. I was like, where's the master link?
I was wondering why you were just like spinning.
Okay, so this has got a road chain on it. It looks exactly the same as the mountain chains, but clearly they're SRAM Red road chain. I was just curious what chain they actually were gonna use on the 13 speed. This looks cool. I don't think this is a magic pulley. Should we test it?
Yeah.
I'll test it later. I don't think it is. First thing, we are gonna be pulling these wheels off. If you are interested in this wheel set, let us know. You can buy a bunch of cool stuff from us at thebicyclestation.com. If there's something you want that you don't see, just email us. I'll have the links to do that below. And if you're interested in a custom build or maybe a new Checkmate.
That's the bike.
The Checkmate. Let us know. Email me. We've done tons of custom builds for people who've watched our videos, and I'm very confident in being able to build any bike you're interested in.
What you doing with the wheels?
What am I doing with these wheels?
Yeah.
I'm gonna sell them.
Hit up the garage sale tab on thebicyclestation.com and you can buy these wheels.
Yeah, I ordered the bike with the cheaper wheels because I already have wheels, so I didn't need another set. But I do want to use the new red rotors. I'm gonna swap out my old rotors. Sweet. So my opinion, I don't know if I like these. Let me know if you guys like the chain pliers. I always find like I can't get enough leverage on it sometimes to. There we go. So my opinion on the 13 speed is, I think, positive. It seems strange that you would want less gear range, but I also understandably am excited about the lighter weight nature of the Grupo. The SRAM Red Checkmate is claimed to be something like 16 pounds or so, which that would be that's a really light gravel bike. We're getting into like specialized Crux territory with that weight, and this has way more features than the Crux does. So if this is in fact that light, I think Trek did a really good job with this bike.
Oh God. It just gave me goosebumps.
It never gets easier.
Wow, I needed like noise canceling headphones.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's not okay.
I'm sorry about that.
That's not normal.
This is a XDR cassette, so we don't want to use the spacer. Yeah, XDR. So on the back of that, I have a spacer. On this one, we're getting rid of the spacer. Sweet. I'm actually gonna throw a battery on this so that I can actually use it without hurting myself. This bike has a 45 max tire clearance, which I think is kind of interesting. I think realistically that's kind of outdated.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the most disappointing tidbits about this bike is that the max is 45s, and I see that as like a big turnoff for a lot of people, myself included.
I think next year we're gonna get bikes like, you've seen that prototype Allied Able that has like a 2.25 tire clearance.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is kind of the elephant in the room with this bike, that I do think that out the gate it is a little bit behind on the tire clearance side of things. And right now, like in 2024, I believe that this is completely fine. And for like general gravel riding, like, I don't know, I usually use 45s, but I think that as 2025 and 2026 roll around, this bike's gonna start to look very outdated.
Well, and for me, I like just frankly knowing that I can have that extra tire clearance if needed, especially on a bike that is a race bike. So like thinking about races I already have on my 2025 calendar, like Mid-South. If Mid-South is muddy, this would not be a bike
good.
that I would choose to ride.
These are 45s. I mean, it would destroy it.
Yeah, it would not.
How's
not
the
be
front
working.
fork? Pretty. I mean, it's not great. It's fine for a 45, but like if it is Mid-South mud, like it would destroy the bike. Like me and Chase have.
We've lived through that. 2019.
We did the 2019, or was it 2020?
It was 2020.
It was 2020.
There we
so
go.
we did the mud South in 2020, and Chase's Diverge was completely destroyed.
It was real messed up.
And my All City only survived because I ran 35s.
But I feel like that race like kind of set the standard for me of like my expectations for tire clearance.
It almost scarred you.
I am 100% scarred, but now the cycling industry's caught up, and now everyone else is like, woo, tire clearance. So now I'm not like, I don't have as many people thinking I'm crazy for wanting massive clearance on my bikes, because it's normal now.
I think seeing all the racers at Unbound running big tires like solidifies the future is bigger, if that makes sense. And we're already at the future, so a little disappointed in the tire clearance. The Checkpoint fits a 50. So this bike is intentionally less clearance. And I don't necessarily agree with that. Although, again, for me, like, I'll be okay.
Well, and you had a Checkpoint.
Yeah.
And you really liked that bike. Like, you had it for a solid chunk of time. So I'm really
Two
curious.
years.
Yeah, so it's like one of the bikes that you've had the longest. And so I'm really curious, once you ride the Checkmate, kind of how that compares to your thoughts on the Point.
The Point? No, the Checkpoint is still like my baseline gravel bike to compare others to. The Checkpoint, the outgoing Checkpoint, I just thought that bike was not good at anything, but it wasn't bad at anything either. Like it was like literally smack dab in the middle.
It's just like a solid gravel bike.
It was one of the best gravel bikes because it just did everything and it was reliable. Criticism of the old bike was that it was a little bit, how do you say it? The rear end wasn't very stiff. And so like, I remember like the rear end on that bike would just like flex. And so I think with this design, Trek's obviously attempting to address that. Like otherwise they wouldn't have built this up so big.
Yeah, that is like thick.
I'm definitely like very curious about this bike and how it's gonna ride. On paper, it looks really like well thought out for what the intentions of it are. You wanna see something cool?
Always.
Check this out. Whoop.
Whoa, trapdoor.
It's a little magnet.
I want to touch it. Oh God. Ooh.
So underneath here is the current Domane ISO speed. So this is the same ISO speed found in the Domane. I've never ridden that for an extended period of time. Done a ton of warranties on it. And now knowing that I know that they're on the 4th iteration of this seat binder, and I'm pretty sure the 4th iteration now functions properly. So I'm just gonna assume that they've got this sorted out. We're gonna find out, but everybody I've installed that 4th generation seat binder in that fixes the issue. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that's hopefully fixed. And this is probably one of the coolest looking ISO speeds Trek has come out with. It's like you can see it, but it's not like, I think they did a great job like integrating this into the frame.
Yeah, I like that it's not like in your face.
The other thing that I like too is that you can't break your frame if you're trying to service it. So both of the pivot points have Allen keys on them. On the Domane, one side of it's a nut, and if this gets stuck together, what was happening was people were trying to undo it, and then the nut would rotate and crush the carbon in the frame. So I'm glad to see that this is just a circle on both sides, and it won't actually break your carbon frame if the bolts fail. So kudos on that. Although for them to get to this design, a lot of people had to break their bike. So, due to some issues that we've been having, we are now going to be using ceramic speed in our bikes.
Woo.
And if you're interested in ceramic speed stuff, let us know. We just opened an account with them. This is T47 ceramic speed bottom bracket. I don't know if it's the off-road one, but if it's not, that's my fault, not ceramic speeds. We're gonna go ahead and put it in this bike right now. Removing the 42 tooth chainring, and I'm gonna be installing a 46 on here, which is still less than I would normally run, but due to the smaller climbing gear, it might work out. These chainrings max out at 46, and so the only way to go bigger is to get the Aero power meter, like it's right behind you, like that one. And if that's what we need to do, I have 48 tooth Aero power meters in my drawer, but I wanted to try the whole new setup here. So I have a 46 tooth chainring, and it works exactly the same as the mountain bike with the thread on. I think it's a good design. I wish they would have done it on the road bikes too. It seems really silly that they didn't do that on the road bikes. All you have to do is just kind of set it. It's actually a lot harder to do with the bigger chainring. There we go. And then just reinstall the little safety nut on there.
Can you please stop putting things on the floor? Dude, your wheel's gonna touch the ground. This is...
It's definitely not.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Sorry, I was hating. Oh, man. Who is like damn near right on the money? It's me. I win. I feel like I need a prize. And Trek is... They're liars. I said that. They weren't quite right. This is the closest I've ever been at this game. I'm hyped.
Yeah, I would say that they overshot the weight on that. Because they claimed it was 16 and a half pounds.
Wait, I have a question. We changed the wheels.
We made them lighter. Those are lighter.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
These wheels are lighter. So it's even worse, technically.
Yeah.
You added lighter parts to the bike.
Everything I added was lighter, and we also slammed it, so we made it lighter in that direction too.
Yeah, you did some chops.
The pedals aren't light, but like the only heavy thing on the bike is pedals. My pedals are not that light.
But I feel like once you add the lighter stuff, it's kind of a wash.
It's a little disappointing. I was really excited for possible 16-pound bike. What this means is that the Crux is still clearly the lightest gravel bike you can buy, and I probably should have known better just because it has all the extra little things going on with it.
I knew better. I'm the winner. And I'm stoked to figure out what my prize is for winning.
Well, to be honest though, it's still pretty light. I mean, what do you think? Is that heavy?
I don't know. I'm honestly... I'm way too smug right now because I knew that they were full of it.
These are 45 mil tires. We have nothing else is heavy. This is an S-Works saddle. It's really not that bad. We're complaining about a 17-pound gravel bike. Although my Sparrow is, I think, 18.
I don't even know what my Sparrow weighs.
But my Sparrow also has the mountain bike group on it. There's so much to talk about with this bike.
I'm so hungry and so like ready to ride.
This is my, oh no. One thing that I relentlessly complained about, I don't even know if we might, I don't even know if we made videos back then.
We didn't.
Whenever Trek made this awesome bag that went on the old checkpoint, and they freaking didn't send the screws out. And
Like they made you buy them
mad.
separate. And so like customers would buy a bag and then you'd have to buy like a couple packs of screws.
It was so stupid. I was so mad.
It was ridiculous.
What do we got? Okay, so there's 2 holes on the top and 1 on the bottom. Look, it's even painted to be.
Okay.
Do you think that's cool?
I don't love the checkers with the splatter.
Well, it's for gravel.
I don't know why every company's like just doing the same thing where it's like, oh, you're off-road, here's some neutral colors.
This is gravel
Oh, we
aesthetic.
have to splatter every single off-road bike ever.
The gravel aesthetic is strong with the Checkmate.
Yeah, I'm kind of over it.
Do you notice that there's not a single Bontrager part on this bike?
Yeah, you're right.
Look at the packaging off the bag.
Yeah, that's Trek.
I think Bontrager's done. I don't know. Like no one's told us, but like.
I feel like they said a while ago that they were phasing it out, and then there was just like never anything about it ever again.
Yeah, I mean like.
And like some things still come out with Bontrager, but a lot of it's just moving towards like Trek.
I think it's kind of weird. I mean, I don't like have a problem with it. I just think it's like kind of the end of an era.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Did I put it on backwards or is that?
I really can't tell.
I feel like I did. Why doesn't it fit all the way in?
Wasn't it like size specific?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, I did. I know why. There's 2 holes in the bottom right here, and I just need to scoot it.
That's
Nope, that's not gonna work. Is there 2 holes up top?
No, you got it. Well, yeah, but you put it in the correct holes up. I'm gonna look up a photo. Confirmed. Drive side out for the logo. So you just have a gap. So it's not actually size specific.
It's not Aero.
Are bags ever Aero?
Well, this one was supposed to be, I thought.
It literally says adventure frame bag. Since when is adventuring Aero?
Since gravel. Well,
Just put the bag on.
I'm putting it on. I'm not stoked. I'm like a little bummed that this doesn't fit perfectly in there.
I feel like the previous Checkpoint bags fit better.
It fit
than
way
this
better
one.
than this.
Yeah, this is not. Are you sure you ordered the right size?
Look at the packaging and make sure.
Yeah, it's supposed to fit medium, large. There's no gap in their drawing.
There's no way that's right. That looks ridiculous.
Yeah, that looks.
That does not look right.
They missed the mark on this. It does not fit the frame that well. So like, I don't know if you can see in here.
Yeah.
Each hole, you have a little bit of wiggle room. So I loosen the top and like, because we're like, oh, it just needs to scoot forward a little bit. I loosen the top bolts and like, it's been moved up as far as it goes. But now that I did that,
Does it not line up on the bottom?
it doesn't line up on the bottom, like at all. Hole is just above just below the top here.
So let's figure this out.
And now you have this like weird gap at the top where it's being pulled down.
It looks so weird.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if it would look better with
The bigger bag.
I'm seeing it a lot right here, where it's like bolted on, it's like pulling the bag up.
It just seems like
just-
it's too small.
Man, I think you needed to size up.
So,
'Cause
like-
this is the 1.3 liter,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of wondering if we get a 1.6.
I bet
if
the
that would
1.6
fit better.
would work. I don't know. We're gonna have to consult with Trek on this one. For now though, that doesn't look right, and I don't want to use this bag because we can still sell this, so I'm just gonna take it off. What do you think?
Yeah, take it off. Let's go ride.
Yeah, okay. Velcroed it on, it would be fine. Like if we just use the Velcro straps, it would fit perfectly. It's just because the holes aren't cut in the right spot. That's the entire problem. Just so everyone can see, like clearly the shape of this is right. There's a little bit of a gap, but that's no big deal.
That's fine.
That's ridiculous. This is fine. The hole for the frame is right there. The hole for the bag is right there. And you guys know me, I refuse to have bad aesthetic on my...
When you're a big bag guy.
Yeah. Also, this bike's $13,000. And so like my standard of like, does the bag fit perfectly is like kind of pretty high. You know what I mean?
It should be on a bike that's that expensive.
That-
If this was
yeah.
like a $3,000 bike, you know, you don't need to be as like.
Like it wouldn't even be a thing. I would just be like, the bag's cool. But like, because it's a freaking expensive bike, and it's not only an expensive bike, they literally painted the frame in line of the bag. Like, we're not just talking about like, I know this is ridiculous, it's just a bag, but like, they clearly need to do some adjustment on that, because I would love to use the bag. It looks so sick like that, and it's simple. They just need to readjust this hole. So hopefully they can fix that. I'm gonna definitely let them know it doesn't work right. And usually Trek's really good about fixing stuff like this. So give you guys an update to what happens with the bag in whatever the next Checkmate video is after this one. We lost some of the audio from earlier. I wanted to kind of like cover some of the stuff that we were talking about. The main thing that we lost was whenever I was talking about the geometry of this bike. This is a size medium large, and it has a reach of 499 and a stack of 586. This is the perfect stack and reach for me. I'm 5'11". Trek says I should buy a large, and it's not right. The standover height on this bike is okay. It's actually right at the max of where is tolerable for me. Like, standing over it like this is completely fine. Where this becomes an issue is if I'm on the bike, I'm a little tiptoey, but not enough that it's a huge deal. I just wanted to kind of like give everybody like a real example, you know? Like, this isn't me saying the geometry is whack or anything. This is me saying, take a really close look at the geometry before you buy this bike. All of the Trek new t-shirt sizing is different. It is something that is not conventional like you would normally find on like just a standard size chart.
It's brought me down like an entire size.
I'm like in between sizes both ways, right? Like, for me to ride the medium large, I'm completely slam with a 110 stem, which is great, actually. I prefer that. I could ride a medium with, I think it would be like a 120 or something. And that would alleviate the seat being just ever so slightly too tall. But also then the flip side of that is if I was on the large, the standover height would be completely intolerable and my stem would be just a little bit shorter. So it's like I can like almost ride all three of them, but all three of them have compromises, if that makes sense. And ultimately the medium large is the right choice for me. We were just rode like 3 or 4 miles and it feels really comfortable. Another thing we lost in the audio problem was the handlebar. This is a 44 width handlebar, but it measures to 42 on the tops. And honestly, it feels really narrow to me. I run a 44 normally. This is a 44 technically. It's not, it's a 41. What it's done is the bike feels a little bit twitchy in the steering department, although not enough that I think it's a big deal. Like, cause I do notice right off the bat, riding this down the road, down the pavement to this gravel road, the bike's super fast. Like, you can just tell how aero it is. And I would actually probably argue that that's mostly coming from the handlebar, to be honest with you. I mean, science has proven that. I'm just giving you I've been on the bike for 30-minute thought, if that makes sense. See, that's what I'm talking about. No, not a huge deal, but just a little bit of a thing to think about. The ISO speed so far is great. It moves just enough that it smooths the bumps out, but whenever you're riding it, it's not like something you're thinking about, which I think is the perfect spot to be with any sort of seat-related suspension. If it's not something you're thinking about when you're riding, they did a great job. So far, I've just noticed that it's incredibly smooth. One thing that I talked about at the beginning of this video, whenever I was talking about the old Checkpoint, is that the rear end of the old Checkpoint was a noodle. I can definitively tell you that this bike is not a noodle in the rear end. It feels really fast and stiff like it should. And realistically, like, so far, I have some pretty positive impressions about this bike. It has some minor flaws, like we've kind of already touched on, like
the obvious one is that I'm kind of pissed about the bag thing. I was really looking forward to the bag. If the bag worked, I would be so stoked right now.
You're a huge bag guy.
Yeah, and this is the thing about the bag. I'm sure Trek will fix that, and then they'll give me a new bag, and then it'll be okay.
And just to reiterate, the only reason Jesse's pissed is because this is a $13,000 bike.
Yeah, if it was any old like entry-level bike and the bag fit like that, I would feel a lot less upset. But like it's literally painted to match the bag. Whenever I saw the internal photos of this like for the first time and I saw the bag, I was like, I want one of those bags. And so I definitely hyped myself up for it, and that's why I'm a little disappointed. I'm sure Trek will send me a new bag that works, because honestly I kind of feel like that's a warranty claim. It just wasn't even like cut in the right spot to fit properly.
We'll do a bag video. We have a hefty quantity.
Computer mount rocks.
I've had people reach out to the store wanting to buy this computer mount. It doesn't work on the old bars.
Unfortunately, this rocks though came with the bike. Thank you for sending that with the bike. Like
That was a huge problem the last time they released bars.
you can, there's even it even came with the GoPro adapter that you can put on the bottom.
It's great. I love it. Let's ride. You can give me more thoughts at the top of the hill.
Yeah,
Because you're
I
about to
haven't
climb-
climbed on it yet,
And
but
you're about to climb a pretty solid.
well, we're on our gravel testing road right now. We're on Walla Hollow, so
I've just never been invited to your guys' like test rides.
well,
So my first time on your official test ride. All right, you climbed a hill.
yeah, and it's the same hill that we do all of our gravel testing on, which has only happened once, but I'm very familiar with this hill. The thing that really strikes me is, and it has nothing to do with the bike at all, is I kind of just don't understand who this group set's for at the end of the day. These hills are fairly steep, and they're really, like today they were really loose.
It's been like that for the last month, where there's a lot of brake bumps on the climb, and it's very dusty, very loose. And like every time I've been out here lately, I've been spinning out up the climb.
Yeah, and so you can't really stand up. I tried and I spun out. But that's what's confusing about this. It's like Red Explorer to me is literally for like just like completely flat, I think. It makes sense in that context. Like if we were just riding flat all day, then it would be really nice to have the 13 speed and the lighter weight. I'm not quite sure it really suits where we live. Like I already can tell you I'm gonna put the mountain bike derailleur back on this bike. I mean, I understand that this is cool. I'm happy to live in a world where we have this. That's not what I'm trying to say. I just don't think it's a product that really has that wide of a, I guess what I'm trying to say is I think it's kind of a niche product at the end of the day. And it really would make sense for somebody who's riding flat and also smooth terrain, where that's like the opposite of what we have. So just not suiting really the riding style that we have here in Southern Indiana. Because I immediately missed having the 52. Because then I could put a bigger chainring on front too. See, that's the thing. It's like I'd rather have the faster top end to match with the climbing gear than the more compact cluster. Is it bad? Not at all. I mean, it shifts beautifully and it does do what it's supposed to do. If you're in a place where there's tons of climbing and mountains, I can't say I recommend it at this time though. We're here at the old pump house in downtown Nashville. That entire ride was just to get content, so we didn't really do a real ride, but we did a ride. It happens, you know. Not everything you see on the internet is real. But yeah, this bike I think is gonna be a good one. I feel like Trek took the Madone Gen 8, the Domane, and the old Checkmate SLR and just put them all into like one bike. It's got like the Domane seat, and this is the same seat post from the Domane. It's literally the exact same. The same handlebar from the Madone, but it's the Checkpoint, or it's the Checkmate, sorry. I'm never gonna get that right. And that sounds kind of like uninspired, you know, but I think they did something good here, y'all. Like this bike feels really good to ride. It's the fastest feeling gravel bike that I've been on, and I think that comes down to aerodynamics. It feels comfortable. It's got the ISO speed thing, and I definitely noticed it, and it wasn't overkill like I said earlier. The bike can sprint, like it's got a stiff BB. It seems kind of like just a simple, and so far I'm really glad Trek decided to release this like more racy specific gravel bike. I see almost zero reason to buy a Domane after riding this bike. I've almost bought a Domane multiple times, and I'm glad I waited because I feel like this bike is just a better Domane, and now I'm kind of struggling to understand why that bike's in Trek's range. I realize this is a really expensive version of this, and I didn't ride the new Checkpoint at all. I bet there's a big difference, but let's just put SLR versus SLR. I don't see any reason to buy the Domane SLR over the Checkmate at this point in time. I definitely am looking forward to riding this and doing some long distance rides on it to really get a feel for how comfortable it really is, because I know 20 miles is great. Maybe next weekend or whenever I can, I'll get out and do a super long ride. And we'll do comparison videos, Checkmate versus Aspero. That's not my Aspero, but I have an Aspero coming up soon, because I think they're both similar bikes. They both kind of more race focused and fit 45s with a lot of aerodynamic consideration. So yeah, this is the new Checkmate, whatever, it doesn't matter. I like this bike. I think I'm excited to see other people's opinions on this bike. And if you guys liked this video, make sure to definitely subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Lots of cool video projects in the works. And if you want to support the channel, make sure you check out thebicyclestation.com. We have tons of stuff in stock right now, and you can buy it and we'll mail it to you.